Hey, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really digging into some fascinating source material.
We are. It's a set of excerpts from Nora Roberts' book, The Fall of Shane MacKade. Some really rich stuff in here.
Absolutely. We've got these passages that give us a fantastic window into, well, Shane MacKade himself, Rebecca Knight, and this incredible setting there in Antietam.
Right. And our job really is to unpack all of this with you. Pull out the key bits, the core insights.
Yeah, kind of give you a shortcut to understanding the heart of the story,
Yeah.
who these people are, what makes them tick.
Exactly. We're sort of your guides through the text,
Yeah.
looking beyond just the plot to see the underlying stuff, the why.
Okay, so what are we covering? First up, Shane MacKade. We need to figure out who this guy really is.
Mm-hmm. His connection to the land he farms it runs deep. And then there's this whole complicated thing with the past, the hauntings.
Right. Then we'll shift focus to Rebecca Knight. Her background is fascinating as scientist, right?
Totally. And her reason for being there is very specific, initially studying paranormal activity. But it turns into something else. A journey of self-discovery, really.
And Antietam itself, we can't ignore the setting, steeped in Civil War history, all these local ghost legends.
Yeah, and it's not just wallpaper. We'll see how that history is, like, alive for these characters, how it affects them.
Definitely. And then the big one, the dynamic between Shane and Rebecca. This is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, sure. You've got the super logical scientist meets the earthy, kind of resistant farmer in
Yeah.
this particular place.
Yeah, what happens there, the chemistry, the challenges, we'll get into all that.
And we'll also touch on the MacKade family. They're quite a contrast to Rebecca's past. Big, loud, supportive.
It's a lot to cover. So let's just jump right in.
Let's do it.
All right, Shane MacKade. You open these sources, and boom, that prologue hits you. Him as a kid, out dawn, whistling, already part of the land.
Well, his brothers are just complaining about the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene says so much.
He's just a little kid, but he feels like that land is his. It's more than chores.
It's tied to his dad, to legacy. It feels almost, I don't know, spiritual for him. He's so comfortable there, even talking to the cows.
That's the way, ladies. You fill her up. Yeah, he's got this easy way about him. With the land, the animals, but then...
Let's shift. In that same prologue, he's walking the fields, hears something, sees something near the smokehouse,
a figure, a cry.
and he's terrified. Which is really interesting because it sets up this haunting idea early on.
Yeah, and it clashes with the adult Shane, right? The one who insists he doesn't believe in ghosts, doesn't pay them any mind.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, what's going on there? Did he suppress something? Is it just one specific memory he wants to block out?
You see that conflict in him as an adult, too. Like Reagan mentions he has this aversion to local legends.
But then she quotes him saying, "Don't we have enough of that around here already?" Which tells you.
He knows exactly what the legends are. It's not like he's unaware.
No, it feels deliberate, like avoidance. He says he prefers reality,
Right.
doesn't believe in any of it, but it feels, I don't know, stubborn.
His brothers even call him out on it, apparently. He's the only one who won't tell ghost stories.
It feels less like skepticism, more like a defense mechanism, like he's putting up a shield.
Okay, let's pivot. Hard pivot, really.
Yeah.
Rebecca Knight.
Yes, Dr. Knight.
She arrives, and wow, the intellect. Psychiatry, history, math minor, physics, chemistry at MIT. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, she's built for academia. And her reason for being in Antietam initially is purely scientific,
Right, studying paranormal activity, recording it. She calls it a hobby, but
but admits it's becoming a compulsion. She's got data loggers. She's looking for measurable proof. Very methodical.
you see it when she's listening to Cassie at the end talk about cold spots. The source says her voice goes flat now, that of a scientist assessing data.
Analyzing, looking for patterns, always within that rational framework she knows.
But the sources really emphasize that her trip is about way more than just collecting data, her background.
Oh yeah, super structured. Almost like too normal. Pushed into academics since she was a kid. That phone call with her mother. Oof.
Brutal. Her mom can't even remember how old she is. That scene tells you so much about why she might be the way she is.
Totally. Why she values control. Why she's maybe wary of big emotions.
So deciding to come to Antietam to study ghosts, something totally not measurable, not rational, it feels like a kind of rebellion, doesn't it?
It really does. A need to, as she puts it, do what I want. Explore things beyond that purely scientific box she lived in.
She admits thinking back on those quiet family dinners made her miserably unhappy.
Yeah, she's looking for something else. Maybe something messier, more human, even if she doesn't quite frame it that way herself yet.
Which leads us perfectly into the setting itself,
Yeah.
Antietam.
Right, the sources just keep hammering this home. Steeped in Civil War history and local legends of ghosts.
It's everywhere. The land itself seems to hold the memories. The MacKade Inn, the Barlow place, explicitly called a haunted house.
People come there for the ghosts. They expect them. Ghosts are as thick as cobwebs.
And we get actual legends worked in, like those two corporals near the smokehouse, the one killed on the stairs.
It's not just background noise. These stories feel connected to the characters. They influence what happened.
It's a living history, yeah. Reagan, Cassie, Savannah, they all have these experiences. Cold spots, hearing things, feeling intense emotions tied to the past.
But Rebecca, our scientist, at first she walks in those same woods and feels.
Cool shade, sees trees and rocks, that's it.
She even notes herself that she feels too rooted in the rationale, which sets up her whole challenge, really. Can she open herself up to something more?
And that question brings us right to the core, doesn't it? Shane and Rebecca.
Oh boy. Talk
Right.
about opposites attract, or opposites clash, maybe.
You've got the charming farmer, the cool scientist. Regan even worries Shane will scare the hell out of poor, shy Rebecca.
But she's not quite so shy, is she? That first meeting at the airport.
Perfect. He assumes beauty queen. She corrects him instantly. Then, nobody calls me Becky.
And she gets that little glow of satisfaction at having annoyed him. Not what you'd expect.
No. And it kicks off all that banter between them, which is often pretty sharp, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like their main way of talking. He calls her Doc, Sweetie, Becky, just to push her buttons.
And she gives it right back with farm boy.
It's clearly a defense for both of them, trying to mask this pretty intense, immediate attraction they both feel.
You can't miss it. From the start, he's noticing her mouth, her neck, calls her pretty as a picture, even when he's irritated. He wants to know what's under the jacket.
And she feels it too, just as strongly, even if she tries really hard to hide it. Remember when he corners her in the kitchen?
Recites the periodic table to stay calm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She knows she's in way, way over her head with him, but she is not going to let it show.
The pool game scene is brilliant too. Shows their dynamic perfectly.
He's the confident pool shark she supposedly never played.
And then she whips out simple geometry and applied physics and just cleans the table.
Leaves him totally stunned. It's fantastic. It shows her smarts aren't just book smarts. She can apply them.
And his reaction is great too. He laughs, calls her the cutest damn thing he'd ever seen. He's not just into her looks, he appreciates her mind, her quirks.
Definitely. But there's real conflict there too under the surface. He's very physical, a habitual toucher.
And she's not. She keeps people at arm's length, guarded. The attraction pulls them together, but she's immediately worried about getting hurt. A bruised heart.
She came for experience, but falling for a MacKade feels like maybe too much experience, like an explosion she might not survive.
And he gets confused by her, right? Like when he kisses someone else and she barely reacts or doesn't push for commitment.
Yeah, he literally thinks if you're slicking with somebody, you shouldn't like the idea of them kissing somebody else.
Right.
He just doesn't get her sometimes. She's so different.
Okay, we got to talk about the MacKade family too, because wow, they are a force.
Huge part of the story, yeah. Big, loud, messy,
Yeah.
but incredibly supportive.
That family dinner scene captures it all. Total chaos, conversations everywhere, spilled milk, dogs.
The complete opposite of Rebecca's well-organized, well-constructed childhood meals.
Yeah, those meals that felt like a class. You can see her observing the MacKades, maybe a bit shocked at first.
But it also makes her remember her own past and feel miserably unhappy. This family offers something she never had. That warmth, that easy affection.
Shane just casually feeding her spaghetti while she's zoned out. It's a small thing, but says so much about how they just pull people in.
And the brothers. Their dynamic is something else, especially seen through Rebecca's eyes. The mud fight.
Her shock. They're gonna fight with each other, while the sisters are just calmly talking about ice cream.
It's just something they like to do from time to time. That line is perfect, like it's totally normal.
And Rebecca calling them pathetic, just like their mom used to. It shows she can definitely handle herself with that crew.
Oh, yeah. And the brothers are constantly teasing Shane about her, right? Asking if he's sleeping with her, getting serious.
Which annoys him, but it also shows how close they are. They're looking out for him, in their own MacKade way.
And it does highlight that Shane is acting differently with Rebecca. The sources mention he's usually careful, keeps women at a distance when it gets serious.
But not with her. He knows he's not being careful with Rebecca. She makes him face feelings he usually avoids.
There's that really pivotal moment when Rebecca faints in the kitchen.
Right, after feeling Sarah's memories, the fear around the battle anniversary.
It validates her whole paranormal research thing in a really personal, physical way,
Mm.
and it shows Shane a vulnerability he hadn't seen.
And his reaction is pure worry. Fussing, lecturing her about eating, he's genuinely scared for her. It cuts right through his usual cool.
He tells her he can't stand seeing that shattered look on her face.
That scene and what comes after really feels like a shift, doesn't it? Beyond just banter and attraction.
Yeah, it becomes real care, real intimacy. Shane's connection to the land, which is obviously haunted by history.
Starts to mesh with Rebecca's intellectual quest, which has now become personal and emotional for her, too.
It's like the story brings them together, not just as a couple, but in a way that forces them both to deal with their own pasts and maybe build a future on that same haunted land.
Shane's land, his heritage. It's his, but maybe he realizes it can be shared. His idea of his shifts a little.
And Rebecca, the disconnected scientist, finds this undeniable connection to a place and to a person.
So wrapping up this deep dive, what really stands out from these sources is how the past in Antietam isn't just history, it's alive.
Yeah, it's a force shaping the present, shaping these people. Shane and Rebecca seem so different, but they find this common ground there.
A connection to the place and each other that helps them deal with the ghosts, both literal and metaphorical maybe, and their own histories too.
It's really a story where the rational scientific world meets the unexplained. Deep feelings, history's echoes, intuition, maybe actual ghosts.
Finding a balance between what you can measure and what you just feel.
It does make you think, doesn't it? How much of our own lives, what we think we know, how much is based on just the facts we can see?
And how much is shaped by things we can't see, like history lingering in a place or family legacies.
Or just that totally unexpected, powerful connection with someone else that science can't really quantify.
How much of our reality is purely rational and how much is, well, maybe a little bit haunted by what came before or by feelings we can't quite explain.
Definitely something to chew on. Until the next deep dive.